there was a man called Donald Bradman. He used to sit where that photo is there every time he came. So you now, Mr. Brown, are in one of the most famous positions in the history of Headingley. Very, very briefly, we have some tremendous people who have come along to welcome you to this wonderful function. We've done it many, many times before. I do hope you've had a great tour. I know that I've been involved with Craig Brown for quite some time, and I know that he would have looked after you. I'm not so sure that he would have paid and bought a beer from down Listen, well, I'll go through very, very quickly, but I deem it an honour that we can be in the presence of such great rugby league players. I'll start with Roger Millwood, MBE. Roger. And he was a cornerstone. He was a cornerstone of Britain's success in the 60s and 70s, and despite being only 5'4" and weighing under 11 stone, he proved to be a tough, very competitor, and believe you me, one of the best that rugby league has ever seen. A wonderful, skillful player. Roger Millwood, thank you. We have Artie Beetson. I'll go on to the next one. Colin Hutton, of course, former Widnes and Hull player, played 260 times for the Black and Whites before retiring in 1957. He went on to coach the successful 1962 British Lions tour to Australasia, winning the Test series for Great Britain 2-1. Colin Hutton. This gentleman was one of the finest wingers in the world during the 60s and 70s and played in all 6 Test matches against Australia and New Zealand on the successful 1970 tour. He's one of the legends of the Leeds club who served them well for over 15 years. I refer to the great winger, Alan Smith. Yeah. This gentleman was big, strong, and played for his country with a lot of pride. And perhaps one of the biggest magnets for the female race I have ever seen in my life. We mentioned him earlier that he is an absolute icon in Hull Kingston Rovers history. He played with the great Manningham side in Australia and scored the winning and only try in Manly's Grand Final in 1976. He toured down under in the Ashes winning side in 1970 and also was on the winning side when Great Britain won the World Cup in 1972. The attractive... Another gentleman that we can not miss out. We often use the word legends, great, fantastic. Believe you me, when I was a youngster, he was my hero. I have never ever seen a skillful player as much in my entire life. He wasn't bad at goal kicking either. He's a former Welsh international union player, signed for Leeds in 1952 for then a record £6,000, an amount in today's money, £400,000. Wow. That gives you some indication of this man's ability. Wow. He was regarded as one of the finest attacking players ever to come into our game from the Union, and I must say that his stunning acceleration and his wonderful scissor step became legend throughout rugby league history. He was without doubt the star player in the 1950s and the first Leeds player to score over 1,000 goals. He also played 6 years in Australia with Wentworthville. I classify him as one of the great legends, Mr. Lewis Jones. And before we start serving up the grog and the food, I would wish you all to welcome Mr. Gary Hetherington, who is in charge of everything that happens at Leeds. Mr. Gary.
Thanks, Mike, and just a welcome on behalf of Leeds Rhinos to everybody this afternoon, particularly all our friends from Australia. The club's got a very proud heritage and history and friendship that goes back with Australians for many, many years. And in fact, some of the greatest players to have played for this club were indeed Australians. As you look around this facility, the Taverners, you'll see some of our most famous players, not least Arthur Close, who was a policeman, played in the 3 tests for Australia against Great Britain in Sydney and Australia in 1946, and then signed a contract to come and play for Leeds, and he intended to come for a couple of years, spent the rest of his life here, became one of the legends of the club. And the great winger, the Toowoomba Ghost, Eric Harris, he came in the 1930s, played 391 games for the club and scored 393 tries, which was a pretty good effort. So they adorn some of the facilities here. And in fact, one of the projects that we've done over the last few years, which has been a bit of a labour of love for me, is to capture the heritage and the history in photographic form. And as you came into the facility, the back stairwell, you'll have noticed pictures around the 1890s of both rugby and cricket. And that's when the stadium was first opened, 1890. And the vision for the then company, the Leeds CFNA company, was to provide an international venue for both rugby and cricket, and then a host of facilities for the community. And over the years, there's been so many historic rugby and cricket events, and they've been captured, as I said, as you walk up the stairwell, you go through the 1910s and the 20s and the 30s, 50s. You get to the top, you get to the 1980s, and it starts on the front stairwell and comes all the way down to present day. So for those of you who like a bit of nostalgia and a bit of heritage, both rugby and cricket, and you'll certainly find it here at Headingley. So we hope you've enjoyed your stay so far, and hope you continue to enjoy. Have a good day today and a pretty miserable one tomorrow. Because I'm just really hoping that England can pull off the elusive victory. As Mick said, it's a long time since we tasted that success, and both Colin and Alan and Mick and others and Phil have all been part of successful Great Britain teams, and we know just what it does for our game in England. So I'm sure you won't be grudges. I hope that it can be an England day today. But nevertheless, we hope you've enjoyed your stay. We hope you enjoy this afternoon, and you've got some great company to mix with. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Gary Hetherington. Wasn't a bad player in his day. In fact, my father used to lift me over the fence